Hi, today I would love to talk about my understanding about instructional design. So first, what is instructional design? Instructional design is the creation of learning experiences and materials in a manner that results in the acquisition and application of knowledge and skills. So let's put it simple. Instructional design is a technology that incorporate effective strategies to guide people to better help people learn and develop. During the learning process, I've been getting myself familiar with all of these instructional models. Let's go ahead and look at what I learned from all of these models. The first model I learned is called Guinness 9 Events. Robert Guinness' 9 events of instruction is based on the behaviorist approach to learning. He created his 9 events of instruction to address the conditions of learning. The 9 events of instructions are: first, gain the student's attention. I felt this one needs teacher to be very creative. Instead of directly jumping into the topic, teachers could telling a story or asking a thought-provoking question at the beginning. Second one, inform students of the objectives. This could help students to establish expectations for the course. Next one, stimulate recall of prior learning. This event shows the importance of making connections between what the students already learned and what they're going to learn. Usually at the beginning of my lessons, I would like to have all of my students review what we learned last time. That's how I help them recall their previous learning. Next one, present the content. It's very important to decomposing the new knowledge into the small chunks. That would help students digest, providing better scaffolding to help your students. Next one, providing learner guidance. Introduce more tools or materials to help students study and elicit performance. Teachers should create activities to help the students utilize and apply their knowledge. Next one, provide feedback. For example, after the in-class activities or after presentation, it's better for teacher to give them immediate feedback to help the students reinforce knowledge. And then assess performance. Brainstorming different assessment tools because we have different learners. For example, visual learners, audio learners, so we have differentiate. And then enhance retention and transfer to job. For this one, we need to help students build up connections between the class and the career they're gonna pursue in the future. So that's what I want to talk about, the Guinness 9 events. And here are another model I would like to talk about. That model is Addis model. So Addis model stands for analysis, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. Analysis is 5WH. What, who, why, when, where. So you have to know your audience, learners, problems, and goals. So one of the questions you might ask yourself, what's your learner's needs? Second one, the designing, or what we call the lesson planning phase, is when you start creating an outline of what you're going to teach. One of the questions you might asking is, what are the available resources for completing the project? And the next one, develop. Develop is the building phase. This is when you finally get to dive into your favorite e-learning tool to create the course. So one of the questions you might ask is, are the materials produced up to the task on what they were intended for? And then we have implement. For implement, maybe your project's already finalized, you already uploaded, but the instructional designer should still monitor the whole situation. You need to think about, did you prepare a backup tool in the event of initial failure of the project? And then last but not least, evaluation. The evaluation phase plays an important role in the beginning and at the end of the process. A great way to get feedback is to ask learners to complete survey at the end of the course. So that's the Addis model I wanted to share. And then we have another model, is called the Dick and Carey's Instructional Design model. The Dick and Carey Instructional Design model is a 9-step process for planning and designing effective learning initiatives. It includes all 5 stages of the ADDIE model, but adds further depth and structure as well. So it includes identify goals and objectives, complete instructional analysis, determine entry behaviors and learner characteristics, write performance objectives, develop criteria referenced e-learning assessments, develop the instructional e-learning strategy, choose learning materials and online activities, carry out formative and summative evaluations. So you can say that with the Dick and Carey model, it includes much more detailed things. And then the last one we'll talk about, the last model is called ARCS model, which stands for attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. So first one, attention. Attention, it refers to the learner's interest. It is critical to get and hold the learner's interest and attention. Second one, relevance. The learning process should show the usefulness of the content so that learners can bridge the gap between content and the real world. And the next one is confidence. This component focuses on developing success expectation among learners, and success expectation allow learners to control their learning process. The last one, satisfaction. There is direct relation between motivation and satisfaction. Learners should be satisfied of what they achieved during the learning process. After all of the model's instruction, I've been thinking about my career trajectory in the future. Besides instructional designer, recently we've also learned about human performance technology. As far as I'm concerned, it's very crucial to learn more about human performance technology as well. As a matter of fact, instructional design carries lots of similarities with the human performance technology. But here are some differences between them. So let's go ahead and look at the difference between these two. So first thing is that instructional design focuses more on knowledge gap. Like lots of the models we saw before, ADDIE's model, Dick and Carey's model, they're all focused on learners' needs. And then second difference is that instructional design focuses on design for learning. It's more learning focused. Third thing is that it's more removed, isolated from the context. As an instructional designer, you will design independently or cooperatively, and then you will go back to the performance context. So, well, for human performance technology, compared with instructional design, it's more focused on performance gap. So performance gap can be defined as behavior or results. They wanted to help the organization achieve the results. Next thing is that human performance technology designs for performance. They wanted the organization or the people in the organization to have the right behavior. The third thing is that they are more integrated. They are integrated into various variables that actually influence performance. So for me, I feel having both skills, instructional design and human performance technology, could enlarge the impact for the organization that we're designing for. So if I have the opportunity, I really would love to learn more about both of them. With the global pandemic, lots of the schools or organizations face the challenge of quickly shifting to online teaching mode. Based on lots of the research studies showed, integrating universal design for learning with open education practice would be a great approach to facilitate students' learning. So let's go ahead and look at what is universal design for learning first. Universal Design for Learning, shortened as UDL, is a way of thinking about teaching and learning that helps give all students an equal opportunity to succeed. And based on multiple research study already shows UDL implementation, it's a very useful tool and it benefits lots of the students. UDL Classroom addresses the needs of all students by providing more flexibility and fewer barriers to learning. But we do have some challenges when it comes to applying UDL in the classroom settings. First thing is that lots of the schools or organization or even teachers, they don't really understand what UDL really is. We all get used to the traditional teaching settings. It's very hard to have teachers to put more energies or time to diversify the teaching methods, tools, or activities. Also, the second thing is that when considering UDL implementation, it always concerns the cost implementation of the policy. What are the necessary resources? What physical infrastructure is required? What kind of classroom is needed? With all of this question but with limited funding, it's very hard to implement. The second thing, we will talk about what is the OER. So as for integrating UDL with OER, so what is OER stands for? OER is Open Educational Resources. It refers to any resources available at little or no cost that can be used for teaching, learning, or research. When we are implementing OER, it has lots of benefits, but we do also have lots of challenges. The first thing is that with the free or no cost resources, materials, there's a lack of awareness of copyright issues. And second thing is that, we do know that with OER, it's going to be little difficulties finding materials, but we do have lots of problem of judging their quality and relevance. So here are what I want to share about my understanding of instructional design.